All right, let's go. Ayo, we're three hot guys sharing our opinions because we're special and different. Gold medals, we're winning. Can't help it if we're burdened by our intellect. You can play checkers while we pretend we know the rules to chess. The council has spoken, and we are the chosen. Your nose is broken because I broke it.
And welcome back to another episode of Will of the Council. It's your boy, Joseph. I've got Jordan in the booth.
Who the fuck is in Danny's seat? What the fuck is happening?
Danny?
You guys didn't think Danny could get more handsome, could he? Bro, you didn't think that was even possible.
I'm all scrunched up like a cat, like a new human is in my space, and I'm like, you know.
That's not my lovely Latinx boy. What the heck? Long story short, Danny is currently detained in Japan, and so he is not available to be here this week. We have instead Gage is here.
Yes.
You all know Gage.
Hello.
You're all Patreon subscribers.
Yeah, I'm actually a recurring guest from the Patreon, and I play card games, and I stream on Twitch, but this isn't a card game podcast. We don't want to hear about that, right? Nothing
Well, I
about
will
that.
say you're doing a lot of work for our Not a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast allegations, because you're actually a Hearthstone pro, right?
Right. It's a
yeah.
card game, only similar. Not quite the same thing, though.
Yeah, we're all card gamers here. But Gage, I gotta say, I was very impressed with your presence on the Patreon episode. I mean, I've been actually, to be quite honest, I've been impressed with everybody, how everybody, like all of our guests have jumped in and joined the formula. But we're happy to have you back on. I'm excited that you're here.
Thank you, peeps. I think I'm pretty good at talking. I do that a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
So-
we're all yappers. We're all the mayors of the Yap Town.
Yeah.
Yapistan.
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually going to say the exact opposite, Gage. Go to hell. I think you suck. I don't like you at all.
No doubt. You guys think Danny's having fun out in Japan over there? I didn't realize he was incarcerated, but
I gotta say I'm a little concerned because he keeps posting that he's like in a place with Leah Asimov. And listen, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I'm getting a little concerned about he and my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ask Reddit?
Yeah, there you go.
I feel like they might be able to help you out over there.
Yeah, r//
yeah? You think so?
relationship advice really gonna help you.
Yeah, I just hope three white guys don't end up talking about it later. That'd be really...
That's who I need intruding on this situation is Redditors.
Yeah,
they're gonna do
true.
a great job. But you know, outside of that, and Danny's absence, there's some stuff that's happened this week. Jordan, you got you want to jam it?
So, we've done this a while now. We all try to bring a topic to talk about at the top here. And there was a thread I saw on Twitter that is something that I'm very interested in. Y'all have, the various scams that have gone on throughout history, right? People calling your parents or grandparents and saying they're a tech support agent, or them sending an email that has a bunch of weird characters or letters or misspellings that they're like a Nigerian prince, right? You've all kind of been around the world enough to see or hear about that stuff, yeah?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. Well, there is, because the internet just gets worse and worse, there is a new style of scam that's been going around. So generated AI image content is something that has been growing in popularity and in usage. And now, because Facebook is just devolving into just a slop of internet nastiness, AI generated images have taken over this platform like a storm, right? So what's been happening is random Facebook pages will post AI generated images of people that have some sort of disability or some physical, honestly, like mutilation, it looks like, right? Because AI content always look like shit, and it'll be like tell this sweet soul that through a hard life they deserve a happy birthday, tell them happy birthday without scrolling and all that stuff, right? So, any person who has the internet wrinkles in their brain will be like, okay, this is not real, this is just like AI slop, but a lot of older individuals will not be able to discern what's real and what's fake, and they will reply on this. And then this is where the scammers swoop in, right? So these are basically like a honeypot for people that are likely to be scammed, because older folks will comment, they'll say like, oh, you know, happy birthday. And that's how they know you're a mark, right? They fall for this. And then the scammers will swoop into the comments, talk about how, you know, they have a dog that's dying or a family member that's in the hospital, and they'll talk to them privately outside of the comment section after that, and then try to get them to give them a bunch of money for this fake, you know, tragic story that they're telling. And it's been happening a lot, actually, and it's getting worse and worse because algorithm-wise, if a bunch of folks are commenting on these posts, that boosts them in the algorithm. So the more people that get caught in this trap, the more the posts get showed to the people's like front pages, and the more people that out themselves as marks is likely to be scammed because they're gullible, and it just keeps going. So it's like this really nasty trend that's just been going off on the internet, and it makes me realize that Facebook and a lot of spaces in the internet are just going to become like more and more unusable now, which is really sad.
Oh, I feel like Facebook's been going that way, and like I've seen the traps before too. Like, have my favorites on Facebook's the one where it's like you're in some third world developing country and there's a picture of like a kid and it's next to this giant statue he's made out of like Mountain Dew cans or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, this kid built this all on his own with several hours of work. Congratulate him for doing so well. And it's everybody posting down there. Now, you mentioned like that's like the trap, right? Is like people comment. What do they end up doing from there, though? Like, you didn't really elaborate. Like, how do they?
It's just they self-identify as someone who is easy to trick.
Yes, exactly.
So does he say like, "Hey, I need 50,000 Pepsi cans for my next sculpture. Please donate all this money."
No. It's just like you say, like you see a picture of like Jesus Christ, like crossed with a cow, and it's like the image of Christ appeared on the cow. Type "Thank you, Lord," if you believe. And people will do that. And then like people who are scammers will just make a list of all of the names of people who commented like, "I believe." And then when they are running like a phone scam or like just being like, "Your computer has spyware," they'll just call the people who were dumb enough to comment on that post.
Yep, exactly. Like one of them. So this one is like an AI generated image of a person that has like an intellectual disability. And then an old lady is commenting. She's like, "Oh, wish you the best," because that's what the post in the caption is asking them to do, right? So she comments, "Wish you the best," and then bam, some guy swoops in and he talks about a big sob story about how his wife died of breast cancer and he needs help recovering after his wife passed away. And like, you know, "You seem like such a kind soul because you commented on this picture. I was just wondering if you would be able to help me," right? And it's just like this over and over and over again. And it's so sad. And the original pictures are just awful too. Like one of them is a picture of someone that basically looks like Emma Watson jogging with no arms. And it's clearly fake. Like, but it is so uncanny valley to the point where it's like, you know, it's just real looking enough where it could catch people, and it like sucks, dude. I just saw this and I was like, I gotta talk about this, because if you have elderly people in your life, dear listeners, I know it's gonna be hard, but talk to them about this kind of stuff, because it's really sad to see people lose a ton of money getting scammed this way.
Yeah, at like what point, like at what age does like the neurons just like snap and you start like believing anything? Like, you know, somebody gives you a call and says your refrigerator running, and you're like, "Oh shit, that thing's actually moving. Like, let me go check it out." Like, at what point do you just start believing everything that you're told?
Based on my personal experience, I would say 29.
Right, that is true. I am 30 now, and I just start believing shit, you know? No, this is pretty interesting, the topic of like scam psychology. There's a lot of different ways that things that seem absolutely unbelievable get made to be believable. Like if somebody is scamming you from a point of authority, right? Like if they're lying and saying that they're like a federal agent, and you're being like audited for like massive tax fraud or something, like you're more liable to give them some sort of, you know, personal information that you would normally never hand out to people, right? Like you wouldn't just tell a random person your social security number and your bank account number or something, right? So like coming from a position of authority is one way, or just like, you know, if somebody cuts off all the chaff, and finds a way to figure out that you are a gullible person or you are a mark, like that's a big one. Like the Nigerian prince email is a perfect example. maybe this was like a Folding Ideas like Dan Olson video that I think I heard this on before, but it's like it's a really good description of why those scams work, right? So if you Gage, like let's say I send a Nigerian prince email to you, it's got a bunch of misspellings in it and a bunch of those weird goofy like characters and stars and stuff that people don't normally put in an email. If you reply to me, I know that I'm going to be able to get you the rest of the way through the scam because you already fell for the first part.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Like, if I'm throwing wingdings in my email.
Yeah, exactly.
And then someone's like, oh, hell yeah, this guy means business, surely. Like, yeah, I know you're screwed from the start there, I guess, right?
Right, exactly. So, yeah, it's just sad. It's a sad way that the world is going. And I wish there was just like, it's getting worse because a lot of social media sites are just like cutting their moderation staff, you know? So it's like stuff like this is just going to continue to grow until they crack down on it somehow. Talk to your parents, folks.
Miserable. Yeah, miserably bad.
Yeah.
Not good, folks. I will say there's a person in our neighborhood who is dealing with something similar. Like their mother is actively being scammed by a group of individuals that all purport to be a country singer on Facebook, like a famous one. And they're doing the like Neil Cicierega, like, I need $300 to buy a new piano or something, right? But everyone was just sort of under the assumption that she was getting completely fleeced and her money stolen. But she hasn't given them any money. She is just kind of stringing them along because she's lonely.
Oh.
That's sad, man.
She was like, well, they're talking to me, you know? Are they trying to scam me? Yeah, but I just direct conversation elsewhere and we talk about other things. And I was like, that's sadder, I think. I think you're scamming them.
Yeah,
That's like worse.
Like their whole goal is to make money like as quickly per hour, and you're being a professional yapper for 3 hours. Just
Your goal is to find human connection. That's so fucking sad.
imagine you find your true love through a scam call. Like imagine, like wouldn't that
Ooh,
be?
I should start picking up.
That'd be a
That's-
crazy movie.
You know what? There's some amount of billions of people in the world. It's got to have happened once. It has to have happened once.
I could never get scammed, man. I grew up through RuneScape. It could never happen to me. It's not possible. Don't go and look
Let me
back
ask
at
you,
the
would
other
you like me
episode
to
on
trim
Patreon.
your armor? Do you think you can?
No, I'm okay, man. I'll find it myself. Don't go look back at the other Patreon episode. I don't
Oh, you
talk
did
about
talk
it back
about
then or anything
this.
at all. Definitely
Oh.
could not happen to me, bro. Not possible.
Why is it whenever you're on the pod, we talk about scams?
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just that gullible. I'm an
no.
easy target.
You've got the scam phenotype. People see you in the street and they go, "Oh, that boy looks easy to trick."
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
you got me back here for another episode. Biggest scam on earth.
Get out the 3 shells and start shuffling. This
Yeah.
kid ain't gonna get it for
Yo.
sure.
God.
Oh man! All right, you all ready to get to the post?
I'm so ready. Thanks
I'm
for
ready.
letting me yap about that. I appreciate that. It's just something that's been on my mind. So
Well, you know what's been on my mind? Dick. Because I have the same problem as the guy in our first post. This comes from r/relationship advice. It is at the time of capping, it was 8 hours old. It did stay up. All right.
okay.
It says, how can I, 31M, get my wife, 30F, to be okay with nudity in shows?
Okay.
It's a touchy subject.
Do y'all have a thing that you have to like? It happens in a show that you gotta like leave the room for. Is there a thing that y'all have?
I don't think I've ever hit a point at a show like that where I've had to leave the room. I've definitely been in experiences where they get uncomfortable, but
Yeah, when SpongeBob yells too hard at Squidward, then I kind of have to leave the room.
True.
No, I guess I get having that, but like, this reminds me a lot of when, do you guys remember when Game of Thrones was airing and there was just dick on TV constantly?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I didn't watch Game
Good
of Thrones,
times.
but I am familiar with how people would talk fondly about Game of Thrones.
didn't
you
watch
weren't
Game
leaving
of
the room.
Thrones?
You were like locking in
Oh,
when there was
man.
dick on the TV.
Oh, I was locking in. I was episode 1 when they were like, all right, so the core conceit of this show is that they toss a child out the window to protect their incestuous relationship. I was like, keep going.
So gross. You're so annoying,
I'm
dude.
in. Listen, it's basically the Folgers commercial TV show.
Yeah,
it was
that's true.
great. Oh, okay.
All right, let's do it.
Let's keep going. We usually try to avoid shows that obviously might have sexual or nudity scenes. But recently, when we both caught Three Body Problem on Netflix, by the way, has anyone seen Three Body Problem on Netflix?
I've not.
I have not. I've heard about it though. Another thing that I've heard about.
I'm trying to read the book first, but
Nerd.
I don't want to
Ew,
read.
Fucking nerd.
God,
Read.
wedging you with my brain powers.
Oh, sorry for reading. If only there was a Netflix adaptation of this relationship advice post you two could catch. When we watched the Three Body Problem, we didn't know there was a scene with some female nudity, and my wife got extremely angry at me when I didn't turn off the show fast enough. So you see a titty on screen and it starts the QuickTime event.
Yeah.
You gotta mash X to get out of there.
Let me tell you, I don't mash X too hard. That's something else.
If you miss the QuickTime event, she just like takes the remote and like gouges your eye out with it.
You
or
miss the
something like
QT and you start jerking off. You're like, oh no. All right, okay. Now we've had this problem for a while. I guess this problem is not jacking off to TV.
He's not vetting
I
the
can't
shows he's
stop
watching
jacking
first.
off.
Oh man. Now we've had this problem for a while, and I know the reason this happened is because she was sexually cheated on really badly in her previous relationship. So anytime there is an attractive female body, she will make me look away. While I'm personally fine with avoiding shows, I don't really watch TV anyway. A part of me feels like I may have missed out on really good shows like Game of Thrones. He wrote like Game
Oh
of
my
Thrones.
God! Whoa!
Just try and catch the Folgers coffee commercial on Cinemax. It's functionally the same. How can we try to work together to resolve this, or do I need to come to a consensus and live like this for the rest of my life?
Well, being a longtime fan of the show,
Mhm.
I definitely already can think of what you need to do in this relationship. It's pretty clear. I
Hit us.
think you need to divorce
No.
her, leave
No.
her, it's over, it's
Lawyer up, hit the
irreparable.
gym.
Lawyer up at the gym. It'll all be good, buddy.
Yeah.
You can good to some other TV shows without her.
Fill that QTE, baby.
Oh my god. I don't know. I guess I would say, I understand this woman has trauma from a past relationship. That sucks. This is ridiculous, right? We can all just be like, this is insane.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh man. I like the weird part about this one is like, I know that like trauma isn't logical, but like, what does she think he's gonna do? Cheat on her with, Lois Griffin? Like, it's TV characters. He's not gonna jump into the screen like an after school special and learn about drugs. He can't. He can't fuck any of these people.
Now, hold on a second.
Yeah.
If he could.
Yeah, if he could, then we'd have a problem. Yeah.
Lois Griffin.
Yeah, Lois Griffin's up there. She's up there for sure.
Yeah, no, I think a good thing you said right there is that trauma is not logical. I think that's a really good way to put it, right? It sucks. Like, this just sucks. Like, it's so weird. Like, you can't look at the TV booby, like, there's obviously nothing romantic about watching a TV show where you see a naked person. It's not like you immediately fall in love with them. But again, trauma's not logical, so go to therapy. This is like an obvious therapy moment,
Yeah, but
how do you resolve this outside of therapy, I guess?
But you got to get
Maybe that's
her
what we
to
need
go.
discuss.
And that's
what, well, yes, of course.
you can't guarantee that
Yeah, how do you
happens.
explain that to her? How do you explain that? Hey,
Babe, you're being insane. Go to therapy.
it's weird that you have a conniption every time a little bit of titty shows up on the TV. I think you need to talk to somebody about this.
Yeah.
I think you can frame it as like, I'm just teaching men how to manipulate women here. I'm so sorry about this. But I think you can frame it as like a you thing, because it's affecting you and your ability to enjoy stuff. And I think you could be like, listen, I just need you to trust that I will be able to control myself. I'm not like an animal, I don't turn into like, auga. My eyes don't pop out of my head when I see a boobie on TV. Have some faith that I love you, and let's watch Game of Thrones.
Actually, you made the joke about manipulating, but that's like not manipulating at all. That's actually wow, Joseph, I'm very impressed. That's a very good way to phrase
That's because I've now manipulated
Um,
you into thinking that that's
Shut
correct.
the fuck
Yeah.
up. All right, I'm gonna hate you. It's like, I need you to have some trust in the fact that this, like, actress on the TV is not going to make me like lust over somebody else that isn't you, right? And I think you could also lead that into a discussion of like, hey, also, by the way, this is not like normal, not to, I don't want to sound like you should be a dick to her, but you probably should at least bring up in some way that this is not like a normal thing people do when it comes to watching TV. Like,
yeah, I feel like you have to.
You do, because you can't, it's for her, like, she can't live this way. Like, yeah, the trauma's there, but you got to talk to somebody about that because, I don't know, there's clearly something that she has not moved past.
Yeah, it's like, it's awful that she was sexually cheated on, as it says and everything, but it's just not normal, nor is it like practical to like behave this way and assume that when I see a couple boobies on my TV screen, I'm instantly going to be going and pining after this celebrity after that, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it doesn't make any sense. It's like,
Yeah, she needs to help herself a little bit and talk to somebody because this is a very maladaptive way of dealing with some trauma that you clearly have not gotten over. So, A, do what Joseph said. That was a very good way of framing it. Again, very impressed. And then B, also maybe have the hard conversation about having her talk to somebody about this because it's hard. I mean, God, it's just got to be hard to live that way.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, for sure. Oh well, I mean, there's a lot of titty,
That is a lot. It's just out there. You just go on the internet, you turn on the TV. There it is.
something
No,
that
not
he
like
brought
the good
up
old
here,
days.
not exactly like kind of related, I guess. Like, he says, a little part of me also feels like I may have missed out on really good shows like Game of Thrones. Have you ever think there's like just excessive nudity in shows for like no reason?
Oh,
You guys ever get that
okay,
vibe?
so-
like why is there all this shit on my screen? What's the point?
I-
Like, just for shock factor? Or
I am glad this part of the conversation has begun. Can we vote real quick and then we'll do this part?
Decision time.
When it comes to the gooning husband, is he the asshole for wanting to see titty on the screen? Jordan?
No, definitely not. I'll stick to, I've already said it before, but the two ways that you move forward with this are definitely this. They're definitely how you got to go. But no, he's not an asshole for this at all.
Gage?
Nah, man, I'm all for gooner rights. Gooner rights, baby.
And I'm a 3-0. Let the man watch Game of Thrones. It's good for at least, 2/3 of the show. It's good.
The council has spoken.
Okay, but I think you bring up a really good point, Gage, because there's kind of this sub-argument that is going on in the comments to this post that I find really interesting. So obviously the top level comments are like, this is unreasonable, like you shouldn't be forced to endure what is essentially just your wife refusing to face trauma. But further down, a lot of people are like, okay, like it sucks that she feels this way, but you're not going to be able to be like, snap out of this. You've said that you're willing to be accommodating. He says earlier, he's like, it's okay that we don't see some shows or whatever. I just find it obtrusive that this happens at all. If that's the case, what's the problem? And some people even further down are like, listen, this is just kind of the way it is. There is a lot of nudity on TV and in movies that makes a lot of women with like insecurities feel really bad. And feel like they're being compared to like perfect bodies on screen. And so I guess that that's another conversation, which is like, I don't know. Do you think there's too many nice boobies on TV?
It's kind of like with TV shows, I'll say, I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of shows that don't have nudity that are really, really good. But there are some shows where it's just like, holy shit, like, oh my God, every episode. You guys ever watch a show called Rome?
No.
No,
You've heard of,
I haven't.
I don't
You
know.
ever
It was
heard
like,
of
I think it was like an
Rome?
HBO or whatever. Yeah, no, the show. I don't know. But basically, it was like this show that was like a really interesting acted portrayal of Roman history and also just like constant sex all the time, which is like whatever. I'm not like a prude, but it's like,
I feel like
I
it's a
don't
new
know.
thing. Like, it's like, I remember growing up, like, of course, like it would always be awkward having like a show have any sort of nudity or any movie when we're like having a family movie night. I remember, what was it? My dad had put on a movie one night and it was rated R. And we were like 12 or something like that. We were pretty young, and I'm a triplet, so I have two other sisters. And it was like Perks of Being a Wallflower. And the first like 20 minutes of this movie is nothing but just like slurs, and it's like this huge, like just it's a lot. It's a lot to handle, and like my parents would have to turn it off and everything like that. And I don't remember a lot of shows being like that aggressive either. But like I can remember only one of the most crazy things was there was a show, My Life as a Teenage Mom or something like that, and that was a big thing going around. And that was like as like raunchy as it would get. But I do think it's like it's definitely amped up in the last few years. Like it's a lot. It's a lot, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. This feels like a relatively, at least like within our generation, you know, it feels like a very new phenomenon. Just like so much nudity in shows and stuff.
Mhm.
It's an interesting thought experiment. I don't know. I don't have like a full opinion on it, but there is a lot just thinking about it.
I think it's just an unreal expectation to have him have to like vet all the TV shows he watches to make sure there's no booba in any of them before they can watch it together. Like,
Right.
Yeah, this is it's a frustrating thing because like honestly I think Game of Thrones was really good for it because it was so excessive in Game of Thrones that I think a lot of modern TV is kind of scared to put a lot of titties on the screen, or else people will be like, here we go again, more Game of Thrones style gratuitous, you know, sex and violence. But it's rough because it's like, okay, like TV largely does reproduce like the harms of, you know, the way that men police women's bodies, and it is super visual and that can be shitty to look at. But at the same time, you know, women who see like women with perfect breasts in TV and feel really bad about themselves, it's like that endless comparison to other people is something that all people have to deal with and you'll have to get over. And it's really funny that like this conversation about the gooning man is like a microcosm for like, and the entire society's just sort of how we deal with like sex and violence on TV.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, you know, because it is like everybody really feels that way, because the people on TV are going to be the people that look like really good in society, right? Actors and stuff are going to get, the actors and actresses are going to get those gigs because they look good, you know? So the people you're comparing yourself to are people that are paid to work out, are paid to diet, maybe have access to certain medications that are now popular that make them look pretty good. Yeah. I'm referring to Ozempic if people don't know what I'm talking about, but like, you know, you really, for your own health and for your own like sanity, you shouldn't compare yourself to people that are on TV or that are celebrities or anything like that, because they literally get paid to do the things that help them look that way, and most of us certainly do not. So yeah,
like this isn't like a new conversation. Like I'm pretty sure everyone's talked about for years to not like compare yourself to the people on magazines and stuff. Like there's whole Dove commercials always think like the ones with the body soap, and they have like, you know what I'm talking about, guys, right? Like like the real beauty, and it's always just like no makeup or anything like that. Like everyone talks about like, oh, like this is how advertising should be and stuff like that. But I don't think it will ever be that way. I don't think anybody's willing to say that. I think it's always going to be the pretty supermodel on the front page, because that's what everyone wants to see. That's what sells, right?
That's what sells.
So, and I don't think it'll ever change.
You know, that's very regrettable, but it does require you to develop as like a person who exists in society, kind of a mental model where you're just like, all right, that's not real. And, you know, that's and
that's true. It's not.
No, it's not. And that's rough that's like part of learning to exist with yourself. But, you know, it is a necessary part of it. And I feel very bad for the people in Reddit who are like, sorry, some women just can't help but compare themselves to TV. And I'm like, that's exhausting. I mean, that's
a horrible
I think
way
you
to
should
think.
try your best. I'm not a woman, you know, but, you know, men on TV largely don't look like me, except for one man who, to be honest, is doing the best he can about violence in movies and sex on TV.
Yeah, skinny Peter over here. I'm gonna throw this little nugget in, because I always say this whenever I talk about fitness or, you know, all this. If we all did the same workouts and we all ate the same food, we would still all look different. There would still be fat people. There would still be people that look different. So I don't know if that resonates with anybody at home, but hopefully that lands with somebody, because it's what I tell myself a lot of the time. So
I don't know about you guys, but when I'm flipping through my collection and I come across Warrior Digreffer, I get so bent out of shape. I don't look anything like that guy,
it's
bro.
True.
I'm like, geez, that's such an unreal expectation of man.
I will say there is one comment on this thread that I absolutely fucking adore. It is what I can only describe as an ad for a service called VidAngel. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Okay, so VidAngel is a Mormon streaming video company that exists to permit you to run a Netflix or like Amazon Prime Video underneath it, and it will censor out all the cussing and sex. And this guy's like, if you want to really accommodate your wife, you need to use a service like VidAngel. And I was like, okay, like, no, right? Like,
how do you think they censor out the parts? Is it just like a jump cut, or do they have somebody like dub over it?
Hey guys, so what you're missing right here,
it's a random Bible verse.
Yeah, Peter Griffin shows up and he's like, you're missing a sex scene. Here's, no, I don't.
No, that absolutely not. Sorry, you can't censor out this. No, this is a non-starter. We can't do that.
The three body problem is problematic under Mormon ideology because it implies that there are three bodies, when the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are actually one individualized Trinity and being.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
So true. Yeah.
He spit.
All right, you all ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
let's do it.
Take it to it.
All right, so this next one is called, Am I the Asshole for Eating Dessert in a Restaurant?
Oh my God. This fucking guy.
I love these ones because it's like, is that what you were called an asshole for eating dessert in a...
Yeah.
Oh, maybe was there some sort of context here? But I think we can vote now. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yes.
Do not eat
Absolutely.
dessert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my boyfriend, 29F, and me, 28F, are currently traveling through Italy. Yesterday, we took a train from Florence to our next hotel into the countryside of Tuscany. We were going to have a last dinner there yesterday night. I chose a place with the best tiramisu in Florence, according to Instagram. We didn't manage to go there earlier. Our meal took a bit longer than expected, and my boyfriend reminded me the last train we could take was at 21:40. The next train comes early in the morning. He says it's going to be too tight to eat dessert. We should just pay and leave so we can make it to the train. According to my estimation, we had 20 minutes left, so we would either spend 20 minutes waiting in the station or 20 minutes in the restaurant. No big deal. When the waiter came and asked if we wanted anything else, I quickly ordered tiramisu. Without having to read the menu, I told him it would be fast enough to make our train still. My boyfriend got red and asked me why I did that. I told him they will bring it out soon, and we have plenty of time to still make the train. So it took a little longer than expected, but by the time it came, I only had time to snap a few quick pictures and eat it fast. I offered my boyfriend some, but he said he didn't want any. We paid and left. It was tight, but still possible, so we grabbed our luggage and made a run for it. In the end, we did make it, although I admit there was barely any time left, but we got on the train a couple of minutes before we left. I sat down and felt such a relief that everything worked out, but my boyfriend threw the bags down and sat somewhere else for a moment until the train left. I called out to him and I told him to come sit with me. I started talking about how we did it, but he cut me off and said, "Why did I have to have that dessert?" He complained about having to run halfway through the city and almost miss a train. I felt very hurt and was a bit scared, to be honest. I have never seen him angry like this. We argued the whole train ride, and on the way to our hotel, there he eventually said he was just exhausted, turned around, and went to sleep. I cried myself to sleep at night and woke up feeling horrible. He is still asleep, and I come here to ask you if I am the asshole.
Yeah. I mean, you are.
Yeah.
You ever just like read something and like you just think like what's going through their head when they type this? Like I feel like I would get halfway through typing this and realize, oh yeah, I am the asshole. Like you would have a bit of like a moment of self-clarity. But like she made it all the way through. Like as soon as we got to, I only had time to snap a few quick pictures and eat it fast. Like I don't know about you guys, but I was just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's oh man. Joseph, do you want to jump in and do this? Otherwise, I'm gonna go nuts on this.
Yeah, this one specifically, I think, was like tailored to make me mad. I almost want to call it fake just because of how effective it is.
That's what
The concept that like she was like, no, we can make it, and it's 20 minutes, and then the restaurant takes too long to make it, and then she gets it, and she's like, finally, I can snap a picture of it, and like. She only went here for the tiramisu because she was told to do so by Instagram. And then she like shovels it in her mouth and they have to run to the train. And then she's like, why are you mad? Everything worked out. And he's like, 'cause I had to run to a train.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, to be honest, it's like this is something that maybe they didn't feel comfortable doing because, you know, it's Italy. It's not like America. But if this kind of thing happens to you, tell the waiter that you're on a time crunch. Like, just be like, hey, sorry, like, if it is going to take this long, can we get it to go? Or I hate to ask you to like hurry it up, but we really are on kind of a tight schedule here. And like, what the hell? She didn't do any of that.
Yeah, to start, I will start with the point of empathy where it's like, you're in Italy, you're on a vacation, you've gotten a recommendation, doesn't matter where it's from, you've gotten a recommendation that this place is the best place for tiramisu. This is like a FOMO cannon shot to your face, right? Like, the fear of missing out here, of missing out on the best tiramisu in Italy is like, okay, I get it. But also, like, I'm sorry, that doesn't remove yourself from the reality that you are on a time crunch. And I don't know, in the EU, restaurants do just take a little bit longer because I don't know why that is, but it's like, it's fine. It's more of a dining experience than it is like waiters around you 24/7. I just got back from Germany, so I'm speaking a little bit from experience here, but it's like, you know, they're not this huzz and buzz around you all the time trying to make sure you have everything you need for every second. It's like you sit there and relax for a while when you're at a restaurant. So you can't just like expect that things are going to work out and come to you fast. Like, oh no, being late or like on a time crunch or rushing somewhere is my biggest annoyance ever. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but that stuff makes me insta mad. I hate it. I hate it so much. So just to like completely devalue somebody's time like that or your own time and almost make you late for the train, even though they already talked to you about not wanting to be late for the train. Like, yeah, obviously you're the asshole here for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, the thing is for me is I would have a problem with, imagine like it didn't work out. Like she says here, I sat down and just felt so relieved that everything worked out. Like she was surprised that they made it and everything like that.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
I can only imagine if it didn't work out, right? Like, imagine they didn't hit the train and stuff like that. I personally would be like in panic mode. I know there might be like some type of easy remedy or something, but I'm the type of person that I need to have like my solution mapped out, or like if I have a plan, I need to stick to that, or I will like freak out. I can't imagine, no matter how good this tiramisu is, that would make up for the immense amount of panic and like the stress I would have to deal with getting back out of a place that I'm assuming I've never been before, Italy. So like I can only imagine all the stuff that would happen with that. No, she's definitely the asshole. Like, absolutely. He kindly asked, he said, hey, like, we don't want to cut it too close. Like, I'm always the person that's rather early too, a lot of the times. Like, being at the airport, I'm there an hour and a half early. And that's every single time, right? I'd rather be there so much earlier than later. So, no, I can imagine being extremely frustrated with somebody that is okay with just, you know, barely making it.
Yeah. I think you made a really good point where it's like she was relieved that everything worked out. Like, yeah, that means you were surprised that it worked out. You know, like, oh man, I thought it wasn't going to work out there for a second. Yeah. And why is that? Because you did the thing that I explicitly asked you not to do, which is spend more time in the restaurant, you know?
I do want to like stress, it would be one thing if it was like, and then we would have to wait 2 hours for another train. But the consequence to this one is disastrous. It's
the last train.
It's the last train.
The last train.
They have a hotel booked, so they're going to like not be able to be in the hotel, right? If they take the first train out. So they'll just have to spend the entire night like waiting for a train that comes in 14 hours in a nation that they don't live in. Like it would be as bad as it could possibly be.
Yeah. That's, oh my God, that would send me over the edge for sure. Like, I would probably be acting just as mad as this guy. Because I would be mad. Like, I would definitely be mad here. Like, I don't know. The yelling sucks, but yelling always sucks. But still, like, that is so flippant of you to just be like, oh, I'm sure we'll make it. And then sprinting to get there. Ugh.
Yeah, you know what else isn't going to make it? This relationship, man. You gotta cut it off here.
You gotta hit the gym. Hit the gym. Lawyer up.
Get the lawyer.
Hit the lawyer. Slim the gym. No, man.
Slim the gym.
This one. No, this one's bad. This is Nah.
I at least gotta know, is the tiramisu worth it? Is there an update
That's the
there?
thing. She doesn't say
was it good?
shit about the tiramisu. She doesn't say it's good or it's bad, and
Must
it's
not
like,
have been that good.
okay, well then, come on.
Yeah, the thing here is like, because of the decision that was made here, you're not even going to remember the tiramisu. You're going to remember the argument that you had.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's that sucks, right?
Yeah.
And there was an easy way to avoid it here. So
I do like that later in the thread, she's like, listen, I understand people are upset that I wanted to take pictures, but pictures are memories. Like, we're going to show these to our grandkids someday. And I'm like, you are not going to show these pictures of a tiramisu to your grandkids. They will be like, what's this, mommy? And you'll be like, oh, yeah, this is when my husband yelled at me because I was being dumb as fuck.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not really good at taking photos. Like I have an aunt that she is a photo fiend.
Mm-hmm.
This woman, we made fun of her for always having a digital camera around and taking pictures of the most random stuff, right?
Mhm.
And I can't stand being around somebody like that. Like I think being in the moment, being there is, making the memory itself. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you the amount of pictures I actually go back and look at.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't know. I'm the same way. I barely take any pictures. I barely reminisce on pictures. But I know some people who really do like take pictures of everything, and they like scrapbook and stuff like that. So I kind of get that. I'll push back a little there because I know people that take a lot of pictures and they find them very important.
I will say, though, the tiramisu is
those
not
people
going to make
exist.
it into the album. Like,
That's
that
100%
picture
correct.
is now
Yes.
permanently compromised.
And it's your fault.
It will be your fault. You want to vote on this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
Decision time.
All right, when it comes to the lady who just wants her treats, Jordan, is she the asshole?
Oh yeah, this one. Yeah. Do not ever time crunch like this. Never. If you have an itinerary, stick to it. You are the asshole.
Gage?
Absolutely the asshole. I hope the tiramisu was worth it. I hope.
That's going to be a 3-0. This is just unbelievable. I will say, as an adult, the number one like time management thing I've learned is do not ever plan for anything, even a single course at a restaurant, to take less than an hour. All things take at
Yes.
minimum 1 hour. Like you can't be like, I got 15 minutes here, I got 15. Nope. It's going to take an hour at minimum.
Yep. God, that's very good advice. That is just
Your day
correct.
is like 14 or 15 1-hour bursts, and you could do what you want with each of them, but you're not going to get 2 things in 1 hour. It doesn't work like that.
The council has spoken.
Are you all ready for the last one?
Oh,
ready.
hit me.
Okay. We have come down pretty hard on women this one. And I would say the only difference between, our usual lineup and now is Gage. So Gage, what the fuck? Why are you so anti-woman?
I don't know, man. I'm just a weekly enjoyer of this show, Will of the Council.
We made
man.
you that way.
I've
I
learned
see.
from the best.
Oh, it's our fault?
Oh,
Have you really been listening?
All right, well, don't worry. I wasn't going to get you out here, Gage, without giving you an opportunity to hate men. So here we go. This is 6 days ago, comes from r/AITAH. Best sub on the platform, folks. Says, am I the asshole for telling my husband his, quote, fragile masculinity, end quote, is costing us money? All right, so this one...
If this one's going to be about dude wipes, oh, fuck. I'm so fucked.
Oh, before we should get into this, we should call out Peeps for his fragile masculinity. Do you know that he uses dude wipes? The male wipes?
Look. All right, let me defend myself here. All right. Here's the thing with dude wipes. I have used flushable wipes. They're not actually flushable, even though they
No
say they're
wipes are
flushable. Just throw
flushable.
them in a side bag and then throw them away. No wipes are flushable. Okay. I have used all of them. I've used generic brands. I've used Great Value. I've used like Up and Up or whatever the Target brand is. I've used like Cottonelle. Okay. The actual best ones, the ones that don't like rip and your fingers go through or anything, the best ones are the dude wipes. I'm literally not joking. They make extra large ones that are good for my big ass hands. Like, they are the best flushable wipe. I'm serious.
You would fall for the wish Jesus Christ a happy 14th birthday on Facebook posts. You are that kind of
No,
consumer.
I'm sorry. They are, but I am a user of these. I have tested the product. I am the fucking consumer's report of wiping my ass. Okay.
I don't know, man. I'm a flushable wipe fan myself, but I don't think I've been needing a hand towel equivalent of a shit rag to clean up my duty messes, bro. What are you doing up there? How are you?
Even Mariah's on board.
You're letting your
We've
wife
used
use
all of
the
them.
dude wipes?
No,
Dog, I'm reporting
You know,
to you.
we-
I'm
she
reporting
is
you to the
comfortable in
Better
her
Business
femininity.
Bureau right now. They're hearing about this.
God, I hate to shill for this fucking I know how stupid it sounds too, because I hate that I'm buying these. Okay, I fucking
Do you like
hate it.
Black Rifle coffee too? Do you like the
Shut the fuck up. It's literally these, like,
Are you
purchasing
subscribed
these,
to Epic
going
Meal
to the store
Time?
to buy these is literally like, you ever buy something at the store that you're like embarrassed to buy? For me, it's these fucking dude wipes, but they are the best. Like,
I would rather purchase
I don't know
like
what they're made out
the
of.
extra small condoms than the dude wipes. I'm gonna be honest with you right now.
I know, it's extremely embarrassing, but they are very good.
Oh my god, dude wipes. We're not sponsored, but if you are looking, we'd love to shill your product.
Hit me up, dude wipes. I'm so I hate your fucking branding because it's so fucking annoying, but your product is good.
All right.
Just move on with the post, man. Yeah.
All right, back in late 2021, my husband, Dude Wipes ambassador Jordan, M46, and I, F44. So this is two adults, which is fucked up. Usually we get like 21-year-olds that are like, my boyfriend doesn't wipe his ass because he says it's gay. But like these are like adults with 4 children. So
I got a product to fix that.
and we're a little before midlife crisis too. This is like 40s. So like I'm excited to see where this goes. Anyway, my husband Craig and I welcomed our 4th child into the world. As a result, we needed to upgrade one of our cars to something larger. We decided to trade in my Toyota RAV4, RAV4. Not familiar with this car. Let me look it up.
RAV4.
Oh,
It's RAV4.
this is an SUV.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they got big old boys. They need a bigger one. For something bigger, since I was the one who drove the kids around more often. I was open and ready to embrace minivan life. God, I miss minivans. What the fuck happened to minivans, man?
My mom had a minivan all throughout, of course, like having 4 kids, my older brother and the triplets.
Mhm.
The minivan was a staple at our household.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember one of the greatest privileges was going to high school, and I had to drive my sisters to school, and I got to take the minivan every day. I'd pull up in and I'd park in the school parking lot with that minivan. Man, I felt so good, bro.
Oh man, we had the Dodge Caravan. It was the gold standard of
Yeah.
minivans.
Oh,
We had the purple one.
Was that the Dodge Grand Caravan? Is that
Yeah,
like the
man.
big bubble
That's the
minivan
one, yeah.
that every fucking person
That's the
had?
one.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't know how you don't like minivans, bro. There's a charm to them.
Yeah, well-
There's a charm. They all got the similar shape.
yeah.
Like it they're beauties.
I love minivans. I ain't gonna talk shit about minivans.
I remember we would when we would go on vacations, we would take out the center seat and we would pile all our shit in the middle, and then when we would have to sleep in the car at like a campsite, because like we would go camping and sometimes it was too rainy or too windy to set up the tent. And so our backup plan was we'd sleep in the car and mom and dad would sleep in the reclining passenger and driver chairs. And then my brother and I would sleep on the back 3 chairs. And then one person would sleep on the pile of shit. And that was usually me. And I didn't sleep so much as like laid there, but good memories. Good memories.
I remember we used to do the drive-in theater a lot. Like the drive-in movie theater.
What happened to drive-in
And the
theaters?
minivan, yeah, dude, I cannot think of a better vehicle for the drive-in theater than a minivan. Like, it
They
just
went
does
the way
not
of the
get better.
minivan.
than that.
Not to harp home how much I like these vehicles, but they're really good for like teenagers who are trying to have sex with their high school significant other and don't have like a room that their parents can't barge into, you know? It's like it's a spacious vehicle.
Moving on.
Are you acting like that's weird, bro? I get
Thank
it.
you,
all right,
Gage.
I was in high school
Thank
too.
you,
I get it.
Gage.
I had this.
You're moving.
Bro, I'll share a story. Fuck, before we move, I'll share a story. One of my exes, she has to have like super strict parents about like they would want to be in the room with us
Yep.
like while we were watching a movie or something like that. So what I used to do is I used to pick her up in the minivan. And we would go, we found like
You'd
this
go to
one, it wasn't a
makeout
parking lot or
points.
anything, but it's like we'd go to this place and we'd hook up and in the minivan. And let me tell you, tons of space for activities.
I remember The other car that my parents had was a Vibe. They're like a Matrix, if you've ever seen those.
I love my Vibe.
Wonderful, reliable cars. However, did try to hook up in one of those. Didn't work. It's not the same.
It worked for me. You weren't trying hard enough, buddy.
I didn't want it enough. I didn't want it enough. They don't call it a Vibe for nothing. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Okay. Actually, moving on now.
Holy shit, we went off the rails there. All right, let's bring it back to maybe start from the top.
No. Toyota RAV4, we're trading it in. I was open and ready to embrace the minivan life, and my kids were too. And I was planning on buying something reliable and safe like a Honda or a Kia. But Craig had his heart set on an SUV. In his mind, minivans were too feminine. We just did a 15-minute bit about how you get pussy in a minivan. Come on.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we did.
So, against my better judgment, we ended up purchasing a used 2018 Mercedes GLS 450. I'm going to look this up as well.
Me too.
Oh, okay. This does not strike me as a car that he argued this car would offer similar space to Kia and Honda minivans, but with added luxury. Since it was priced like a loaded Honda, I said, okay, we went ahead with it. After 2 years, we made the wrong choice. The car does have good passenger space, but it doesn't have cargo room. The reliability has been junk. The car has had 8 recalls during our ownership. Even when not recalled,
Holy fuck.
it spends too much time at the dealership because something seems to be broken. Some repairs have been covered under warranty, but we've still shelled out over $9,000, maintenance not included.
Holy shit.
Oh no.
Below are just some of the annoyances. The shifting can be rough. Sometimes I press the gas and the car doesn't move, and when it does, it's jerky. For the past few weeks, the check engine light has been turning on randomly. We have numerous electronic issues. Since the car's problems have stepped up in the last few weeks, I'm fed up. I don't feel safe driving it with my kids, and I've started getting nightmares about it stranding us in the middle of nowhere. Craig downplays this and claims that it's normal for a car to have some issues. This makes things worse. Craig's sedan has started developing issues lately. It refuses to start some mornings and sometimes shuts itself off when it comes to a stop sign or a red light. Okay, what are these people doing to the cars? They have to be doing something wrong. Are these cars safe? Are they okay? On Saturday,
do you know that you have to like get an oil change?
It's like what's going on? Did they permanently turn off like the oil change thing or what?
I don't know about you guys, but like my check engine light's just like a permanent fixture on my car, but it doesn't randomly turn off while I'm driving or anything like that. If it got to that point, I think I need to get it checked out, bro. Maybe the engine does need
Gage,
checked.
it sounds like you got to get it checked out now. What?
Yeah. That's what the fucking light is for, Gage.
Okay.
I mean, I gave it a good look.
I think we have found future Gage on AITAH. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
On Saturday, I was supposed to drive our eldest to his soccer game and then take my younger kids to the doctor's office. When I turned on the Mercedes, it sounded rough. The engine light was on. The temperature was extremely wrong. I said, I'm sorry, I can't risk it, and I Ubered the kids. I told Craig about it that night. He listened at first, but when I suggested selling it, he cut me off and said he wasn't getting a van just because I wanted it. It was so combative and defensive the way he said it, and because I was tired from the day, I lashed out. We argued, it got heated, and I ended up saying, your fragile masculinity is costing our family money. In retrospect, maybe my tone was harsh, but he was being needlessly difficult. We haven't really spoken much since then, and I'm Ubering to work this week because I can't touch the car. Am I the asshole?
Who wants to go first with this one? Huh?
Ooh,
I mean, I can go first if you want me to.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Let you go
know.
first, Gage.
I don't know about you guys, but like cars in general really don't like care about them too much as like a vanity product.
Yep.
Like I feel like a lot of people care about like what they drive and how other people see them on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some fucking lemons. Bro, if my car gets me from point A to point B, that's a good enough car for me.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Like I was talking to Minsu a little bit ago. That's one of my people I live with. And he was talking about like, when am I going to get a new car? And I said, dude, when my car explodes, I'll look at getting a new one.
That's
Until
when
then,
you
it
get a
doesn't
new
matter to
car.
me.
That's the correct time to get it.
Yeah, I think this guy wasn't ready to like accept something, and that's that when you have kids, And also, like, when you get older, you have to sacrifice some things. And maybe vanity is one of those things. You have to get a car that's reliable. You have to do things that make sense not only for you, but for the people that you're supporting, right?
Yep.
And a minivan, dude, minivans fucking rock. You can get so much pussy in a minivan, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine. And here you are. You're just not willing
With your
to accept
wife.
it.
Yeah. And no, like, honestly, Gage, you hit the nail on the head. And it's like, the thing is, cars as a luxury item, to expand on that thought, rather, is like, you can really, there is no point in getting a luxury car or no like financial feasibility for getting a luxury car until you are at a certain very high echelon of wealth, right?
Mhm.
Like, if I was like mega uber omni rich, like maybe I would get a sports car. But even then, like in my current state now, I can't see myself doing it because a car's value to me is it getting from point A to point B. The minute that a car consistently cannot fulfill that function is when it's like, this motherfucker's gotta go. I think we talked about this when we talked about the Ford F9 million buyers who pay $3,000 a month in car payments or whatever. I had an 05 Honda Accord. That fucker was over 300,000 miles on it by the time I got rid of it. It had so much shit wrong with it. Some of the doors didn't lock because of the fob. The gas cap, like, door, I had like a magnet that kept it closed. Like, but it got there. Even like, I took it, I got its oil change, I got brakes changed. It made it from point A to point B, so that's why I kept it. So like, this whole like, let's get a Mercedes, like, bro, what's wrong with you? This is a piece of shit. So get a car that works. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
There's like, there's so much going on in this post. Like, so I think there's some secret stuff in here that I don't want to break out the advanced hating goggles, but I actually do want to very badly.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not his car. He has a sedan, right? That's what he's driving. And if you're having a midlife crisis like this guy probably is to some degree, you get a nice sports car for yourself, right? But you still have kids. You need a car to move the kids around in. And he's like, I don't want to get a girly car to move the kids around in. Also, you are the one moving the kids around. He's like,
that's so true.
I don't understand what his problem is. What's being described here is he picked the car his wife was going to drive. And he was like, I don't want it to look girly. Why? It's she's the one driving it. She's taking the kids places. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't want to make an assumption, but it could be something where it's my money. I'm going to buy the car that I want. It is not like maybe I don't know, like if she's working, if she has a job or career and everything herself. But that's kind of the vibe I get. Yeah, is that like, oh, I'm purchasing this. Jordan like, I will get the car that I want, and you will just drive it around and thank me. Right?
That is. Ooh, damn. Fuck, that
and
is
like
so
maybe,
good.
Yeah, maybe like now, like where he's getting at is he's not, all these problems are racking up and everything seems to be wrong with it. But like, as soon as he admits, like, I made the wrong purchase and stuff like that, that it is his fault, right? Like, it is
so true.
Nobody but his, right? And he's not willing to do that.
That's exactly it. He's made two critical, like, really shitty things. One, he didn't want to own a car that was too girly. And A, and B, he is going to have to admit that he made a wrong choice. So that's two things that he's going to have to own up to, and he desperately doesn't want to do it. Oh, Gage, you're so smart. Holy shit. Oh.
Okay.
No, this is, I'll talk about it in the voting, but yeah, go ahead, Joseph.
Let's not do the voting. Well, let's do the voting. Okay.
Decision time.
When it comes to the terrible, horrible woman who insulted her husband's masculinity, Jordan, is she the asshole?
Absolutely not. And honestly, the fact that she even called out the fact about fragile masculinity is just correct. The reason he didn't want to buy the minivan because it's too feminine. Like, that is fragile masculinity on display. He made a bad purchase that was worse for the family because he thought it would be girly. And it is making things worse. So, no, you called it out just right. You had every right to say what you did. You are not the asshole.
Gage.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you're the asshole. It is pretty obvious. I think just like I said, a lot of people aren't willing to hear that. They're not wanting to hear that. So, good on you for standing up for yourself and saying it.
Okay. It's a 3-0.
The council has spoken.
But it's time for me to play my hand. Yes, I placed this on the dock because there is an update.
Okay. All right. Play the clip.
But wait.
This update isn't like any normal update. This update comes from the husband.
No! What? No.
This thread is titled AITA for telling my husband his fragile masculinity is costing us money. Husband's perspective.
Oh shit, wait, this is big.
Okay, so before you get into this one, in the original thread, people ask her, what do you mean when you say fragile masculinity? Is he constantly like this? And she says, yes, he's a sweet man, but does have some issues with his masculinity. For instance, he won't wear chapstick, and he wouldn't purchase a purple shirt, like a light purple shirt for a wedding to match me because he thought it was too close to pink.
Oh my God.
The responses were like, hold, what do you mean he doesn't use chapstick? She's like, he will rub his lips with Vaseline twice a day, but will not touch chapstick. I do not know the reason, but he says it does not make him feel manly. And so the reason this is a prerequisite to this post is they come up. Okay, here we go. Before I begin the post, I'll add the disclaimer. This post is written from the perspective of the husband in the first post, see here. My wife showed me the post she made this morning so I could see how people were reacting to her perspective. Fantastic news, by the way. I love this, like, oh, that must have been a really annoying I told you so. All the Redditors agreed with me. I was surprised by the comments, so I asked her if I could make a follow-up post to clarify my position. This'll go well. I think this'll go well.
Yes.
Firstly, I want to emphasize I did not buy a lemon, as some people seem to think. We had the car inspected by a mechanic before purchasing it, and the Carfax report we obtained was clean. Good. I understand that my wife, let's call her Ava, would be the primary driver, but I wanted a car with some ground clearance and all-wheel drive, since we sometimes drive along dirt roads when we go on vacation, and renting a car didn't seem practical. In my mind, this ruled out the Honda or Kia minivans. Additionally, I feel a minivan is unnecessary for us as we only have 4 children. Only?
My mom would disagree, bro. Perfect vehicle.
I'll admit that I have personal bias against minivans because they are exclusively mom cars.
I hate this guy.
The Mercedes has been expensive to repair, and it does experience frequent problems, but when it is operational, it is an excellent family cruiser. This is kind of a metaphor for the relationship, I feel. I understand it's unreliable, but I think the idea of it stranding my family in the middle of nowhere is a stretch. Now on to the day of the argument. First off, it's such a perfect man thing where he thinks the problem is the argument and not
all the shit around it. Oh
nine months of behavior. I love it. I went to work on Saturday, so I was unable to take the kids to their activities and appointments. When Ava sent me a picture of the Gage cluster of the Mercedes, I did offer to come back home and drop off my car for her to use, but she declined for 2 reasons. Firstly, she didn't think it would have a lot of space. It is a 2017 Chevy Impala, so it has a lot of space. Okay, we'll Google this car. Maybe, but 4 kids? I don't know. And all their soccer shit?
Yeah, no.
And secondly, she was wary due to a minor stalling issue. A very minor stalling issue. At that point, we agreed that using an Uber was the best solution. Saturday night, I arrive at home exhausted from work. All I wanted to do was eat dinner and catch up on the Spurs match, but the argument happened around this point.
Bitch wife.
I was so tired from work, I just wanted to eat dinner and watch TV, but she had to say, your recklessness has put our family in danger. Oh, geez, here we go again. I did try to be supportive. However, I hold reservations about owning a minivan and feel her comment about masculinity was unhelpful and unnecessary. Call it poetic justice if you will, but this morning when I was getting ready to take the kids to school and daycare, my Impala wouldn't start at all. Minor stalling issue, huh?
Yeah.
Now we have 2 broken cars and the entire family is relying on Uber. It can't be the battery or alternator since both were replaced within the last year, so I haven't got a clue what it is. I suppose I'll accept my wife's point of view and we'll look at new car options later this week. She is pleased and has mentioned that she considers this in acceptance an alternative to an apology, but she wants us to replace both cars. correctly. She's
no shit.
She's right. They're broken. As for I love this. As for the lip balm and the purple shirt, my opinion is that lip balms look too much like lipstick.
Like lipstick, yeah.
Oh my god. The shirt in question was more pink than purple, and more than that, it was far too tight for my liking. I hope this clarifies things and provides a better understanding of our situation. I'll tell you this. I think I have come away with a pretty good understanding of your situation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Dude,
my
I'll tell
God,
you,
this
he said
rocks.
all of his hesitancies for a minivan. What was he saying? It's like they do a little bit of off-roading and stuff for their
Yeah,
vacation.
sometimes we drive on dirt roads.
Dude, those minivans are fucking
They eat them up.
tough.
They eat them up.
I know from experience. Those minivans are crazy. My dad, he used to take me and my brother out. We would go dirt bike riding and ATV riding. And we would hook them all up to the back of the minivan on a trailer. And we would take this thing into the woods and everything. That minivan would truck on, baby. That thing's a trooper.
No, when he said like, oh, this'll have, plenty of room, and this is like a perfect family cruiser, This smacks to me as one of those a very common issue that relationships have, typical, cishet relationships, where the man is focused on like work and stuff, but the woman finds herself in a position of being like the project manager of the household, right? Like managing all the kids' appointments and piano lessons and swim lessons and birthday parties and all that stuff. So like it is very like, well, yeah, of course you think that to me, because like she's probably the one that manages all the stuff that needs to be brought for like the appointments and everything. So she knows how much space she would need in the car. And he's like, well, you just gotta put the 4 kids in there. It's plenty of room, It's like, yeah, sure, bro.
Oh, man.
It's good.
I do like that he says, listen, it's a good, reliable car when it's not broken. And I'll admit it's constantly broken. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
70% of the time, it works every time.
All of this leading
man.
up to the point where he's like, yeah, both cars are broken now. And it's like, yeah, you idiot.
Yeah, they're pretty reliable, bro.
You were
Reliable at getting broken, bro. Reliable about being a piece of shit.
she hops in this thread to rub it in that whenever she's like, this is not a reliable car, he starts talking about how Mercedes is known for its ingenious German design and mechanism. And it's
Shut
like,
the
oh my
fuck
God.
up.
Oh, man.
That Honda Accord lived for 300,000 miles. Just buy a Honda.
That's not fair. The Accord will live until it stops living. It will outlive humanity.
Oh, well, that's true.
When Fallout happens, it'll just be Accords on the road. It'll be
Yeah, right, 100%.
Oh my God. I love it, dude. I love this guy. He's so smart. And I love that he's like, I gotta jump in on the lip balm too. Just so you know, the reason I don't like Chapstick is I'm insane. I'm very dumb.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
so
that
good.
pink shirt made me feel like a queer. Too tight, bro. Too tight.
Oh my God, he's so
I hope that
good.
clears things up.
Oh my God.
Fuck.
I do like that he leads like, I couldn't believe that people were on her side. I'm like, what are you, stupid? What do you want?
What do you said? The car is literally broken. Both of your cars are.
As I walked outside this morning
and
and
to tell you
and faced my 2 destroyed cars, I thought to myself, how could anyone believe that I was wrong? I just don't get it. Oh, fuck. Okay, all right.
Oh man,
I think we're a little over. It was, I guess we'll call it here. Gage, thanks so much for hopping on this.
Oh, thanks for having me, boys. Always a pleasure.
Do you wanna plug anything?
Oh, I guess, yeah. You guys can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/nimnim and YouTube and Twitter and every place at the same handle.
Okay, I have one closing thought. Can I get a closing thought?
Yeah, what are we working
Yeah,
with?
what do you got?
All right, so my lovely wife, Mariah, has heard me recording this and about the dude wipes because I will beat the allegations. She says, they're also some of the only unscented flushable wipes on the market, which is super important for vagina havers.
Are you sniffing it, bro? Are you
Dude wipes
putting
are
your
woke.
nostrils to
Goodbye. More like woke wipes. Get out of here. Have a good week, everybody.
I don't know about you guys. I take a good whiff of my
my
shit rag
shit-covered
after
wipe.
using it.
No, you fucking idiot. It's because it messes with pH. You know what?
pH.
Any women in the audience, you know what I'm talking about.
pH, that's some gay shit. I bet you use lip balm.
Yeah, I bet he wears purple tight shirts, bro. You freaking queer.
Fuck.
Bye.
Bye.